In the kitchen filled with soft spring sunlight, Rebecca was hurriedly preparing breakfast. Her computer screen still displayed the design project with its looming deadline, and she kept stealing glances at it. Just as the toaster popped up with freshly made bread, the sound of quick footsteps came from upstairs. "Mom, are you busy again today?" April came running down the stairs. As Rebecca turned toward that cheerful voice, she noticed the ribbon on her daughter's uniform was slightly crooked. She couldn't help but smile as she reached for her daughter's collar. "Hold on, your ribbon is crooked. I can do it myself," April protested, though she didn't push away her mother's hands. "There, all done. Today's breakfast is toast with blueberry jam." As they sat down at the table, April reached for the toast while glancing at a photograph on the wall. It showed Grandma Catherine baking cookies with April, their faces covered in flour as they laughed together. "Mom, can we never eat Grandma's cookies again?" Rebecca's hands froze for a moment. The loneliness in her daughter's eyes made her heart ache. "April." While searching for a response, the doorbell rang. When she opened it, Victoria was standing there. Her mother-in-law, perfectly put together as always, looked Rebecca up and down in her house clothes. "My goodness, Rebecca. Still in your pajamas. It's already 9 o'clock. Good morning, Mother. I have work due today." "Nevertheless, this house is terribly unkempt," Victoria sighed through her nose as she peered into the living room from the entrance. "To think my son has to live in such conditions." Rebecca silently let her mother-in-law in and led her to the kitchen. April hurriedly called out, "I'm going to school," and dashed out with her backpack. That evening, Rebecca sat alone again in front of a cold dinner. The clock already showed 9 o'clock. As usual, she had received a message from her husband James saying he would be working late. Rain had started falling outside. As she watched the droplets falling steadily, Rebecca remembered her last conversation with her mother. It had been raining that day too. "I'm going for a quick drive." Her mother had left with those words and never returned. Rebecca opened the gallery on her smartphone. There were many photos stored there of memories with her mother. April sports day. Christmas dinner. Gardening in the backyard. Her mother's gentle smile appeared in every photo. Suddenly, she heard the front door opening. She hurried to stand up as James came home, looking exhausted. "I'm home. Welcome back. Your mother came by today." Her husband cut her off with an irritated tone. "I heard from Mom. Don't you think you should take better care of the house?" Rebecca silently hung her head. The old James would have responded differently. When had their conversations become like this? When she entered the bedroom, April was already asleep. Her grandmother's photo sat by her pillow. Rebecca gently stroked her daughter's hair. "Good night, April." Outside the window, the rain continued to fall. Tomorrow would bring another new day. Rebecca sighed deeply as she headed to her work desk. Just a few hours until the deadline. As she faced the screen, she remembered her mother's words. "You're a strong girl, Rebecca. You can always keep moving forward, no matter what." With her mother's words in her heart, she had to keep moving forward today too. Even if she carried an unending loneliness inside. In the bedroom filled with morning mist, Rebecca woke up. The sunlight filtering through the light purple curtains brought spring warmth into the room. Glancing at the calendar, she noticed a red circle. She had completely forgotten it was her own birthday. Her first birthday without her mother. Just as that thought made her chest tighten again. "Mom, happy birthday." The door burst open and April came rushing in. In her pink pajamas, she clutched a card decorated with colorful crayons. Though her hair was slightly messy from sleep, her smile shone like the morning sun. "I drew it myself. It's you and Grandma and me. I also drew blue birds in the sky. They were Grandma's favorite." The card showed 3 smiling faces. Figures holding hands under the blue sky. Seeing her mother's image, Rebecca felt her throat tighten with emotion. But she had to show a smile for her daughter. "Thank you, April. It's a beautiful drawing. I'll treasure it always." Rebecca hugged her daughter. The sweet scent of shampoo warmed her heart. After finishing breakfast preparations and seeing April off, Rebecca checked the mailbox. A task she usually put off, but today she had a special feeling. Among the stack of bills and advertisements, there was one envelope. A light cream-colored envelope. The sender field was blank. But the moment she saw the handwriting on the address, Rebecca's heart leaped. She caught her breath at the familiar handwriting. It felt as if time had stopped. The sound of the wind, passing cars, everything seemed to fade away. Her hands began to shake. This can't be. Her mother's handwriting. There was no mistaking those uniquely rounded letters. The same handwriting that had carefully filled out library cards at the elementary school, one book at a time. Rebecca clutched the envelope to her chest and hurried back inside. Stay calm. Though she told herself this, her heart continued to beat wildly. She sat on the living room sofa and took a deep breath. Her hands shook as she opened the envelope. A card slipped out, written in black ink on pale blue paper. It must have been written with her mother's favorite fountain pen, that distinctive ink color. My dear Rebecca. Happy birthday. I've been waiting for so long. Tears rolled down her cheeks. But there was more. The letters were slightly smeared. Had her mother been crying while writing too? I want to see you. But we must be careful. Please come without telling anyone. Then there was an unfamiliar address. In the direction of Cape Cod. An old seaside town. Near the place her mother had once said she wanted to live after retiring. Rebecca stood up and looked out the window. The same streetscape as always. Someone was tending their garden next door. Children rode by on bicycles. Everything was the same as before, yet the world felt completely transformed. She picked up her phone. Her finger paused as she was about to call her husband. The words from the card flashed through her mind. Don't tell anyone. Those words seemed to hide something urgent. She quickly packed necessary items into her bag. Wallet, phone, and her mother's card. Passing through the hallway toward the entrance, her eyes caught the photo of her mother on the wall. A year since the accident. All this time, she had been talking to her mother in this photo. Yet now, her mother was alive. That fact still didn't feel real. Her hand shook again as she called a taxi. When she told the driver the address, he said, "That's quite far." But distance didn't matter now. The taxi headed north on the highway. The scenery outside the window flowed past like a movie. "Why, Mother? Why for a whole year?" Questions kept arising. But an even stronger emotion filled her chest. She could see her mother. Her mother was alive. That joy overwhelmed all questions. The scenery outside the car window gradually changed. From upscale residential areas to neighborhoods lined with old apartment buildings. The smell of the sea grew stronger. A lighthouse could be seen in the distance. The kind of scenery her mother loved. "We're here." She got out in front of an old 3-story apartment building. The brown brick walls were peeling in places, but well-tended potted plants lined the windows. Geraniums, her mother's favorite. Their red flowers bloomed like guideposts. Her feet felt like lead as she climbed the stairs. One step, then another. Second floor. Third floor. Rebecca stopped in front of the designated room. A plate reading 3F hung on the door. Taking a deep breath, she knocked. The sound echoed through the quiet hallway. Sweat dampened her hand clutching the card. Her heartbeat rang loudly in her ears. The sound of a key turning. Slowly, very slowly, the door opened. And there was her mother. The same gentle eyes as a year ago. Though she had lost some weight and had more white in her hair, it was unmistakably her mother. That warm smile. That embracing gaze. Everything was exactly as Rebecca remembered. "Mom, is it really you?" Her voice trembled. Her vision blurred with tears. She took one step forward and found herself in her mother's arms. The familiar scent of soap. Warm body temperature. Gentle hands rubbing her back. Everything felt real, seeping into Rebecca's senses. The two embraced wordlessly, crying. The sunlight leaking into the hallway seemed to bless their miraculous reunion, enveloping them. A moment that felt like eternity, frozen in time. Mother and daughter simply held each other, confirming each other's existence. Her mother's room was small but kept clean. A wicker chair sat by the window, with her favorite houseplant basking in the sun beside it. Familiar embroidery decorated the walls, and a half-finished piece of lace knitting lay on the table. Everything about the space was quintessentially her mother. "Sit down. I'll make some tea." Her mother's voice carried the same gentleness as a year ago. Familiar sounds came from the kitchen. The sound of water being poured into the kettle. Cups being taken out. And then the aroma of her mother's favorite Earl Grey wafted over. "How is April?" "She's fine. But she really misses you." The words caught in her throat. Her mother quietly set the cups on the table and sat across from Rebecca. Her hands trembled slightly. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Her mother's voice shook. Rebecca instinctively reached out and grasped her mother's hands. They were cold, but there was definite warmth. Why did you pretend to be dead?" "That accident." Her mother heaved a deep sigh and slowly began to speak. "That day, I was almost killed on a mountain road in New Hampshire. Rebecca's hands tensed. Her mother continued. Victoria invited me. She said we could take beautiful photos at the mountain lookout. Let's go together. James was there too. They knew I had an inheritance. Her mother stood up and took an envelope from an old cabinet. Inside were a recording device and cassette tape. And one medical report. This is the evidence. Before heading to the lookout, I recorded their conversation. Victoria had been trying to kill me for a while. Even trying to poison my tea. Look at this medical report. The report showed traces of arsenic had been detected. The date was 2 weeks before the accident. But why didn't you go to the police? Because she has power, doesn't she? A prominent figure in the community, a pillar of the church. No one would believe me. And her mother's face clouded over. You and April might have been harmed. Rebecca stared at her mother in bewilderment. The reality before her was too cruel to accept. Then, that accident. At the lookout, they said they wanted to take a commemorative photo and led me to the edge of the cliff. That's when Victoria tried to push me off. I dodged reflexively, but fell down the cliff. Her mother took a shaky sip of tea. Fortunately, I got caught in some bushes and survived. But I sensed them coming after me. I crawled down and escaped. Then I met a hiking couple on the mountain. They were former police officers. When I told them the situation, they immediately helped me. They hid me in their mountain cabin. Her mother pulled out an old photo album from under the sofa. There was a photo of a warm smiling middle-aged couple. Tom and Mary. They saved my life. Their doctor friend forged the death certificate. That's how I was able to live in hiding here for a year. Why did you wait a year? I was gathering evidence. All of their wrongdoings. James's corporate fraud, Victoria's past crimes. Her mother took a deep breath. And I was waiting for the right timing. Waiting for the FBI Insurance Fraud Division to begin their investigation. Rebecca stood up and walked to the window. Outside, gentle spring sunlight poured down. The overly peaceful scene made her lose her sense of reality, contrasting so sharply with the truth she had just learned. Mom, why did my husband? Debt. $5 million. Gambling and corporate fraud. He relied on his mother for everything. Victoria indulged her son to the point of allowing anything. But they had reached their limit. Her mother placed a hand on Rebecca's back. I wanted to protect you and April. But I couldn't act immediately. Without evidence, those two would surely retaliate. So I waited. Then you decided it was okay to meet me because... Yes. Because all the preparations are complete. The FBI has started moving. Now. At that moment, her mother's cell phone rang. It was from Tom. Hello? Yes. I understand. Her mother's expression changed completely. Rebecca, where is April right now? Huh? At school. What's wrong? Victoria apparently contacted the school saying she would pick up April. The blood drained from Rebecca's face. She looked at the clock. 15 minutes until dismissal time. Her mother had already grabbed her bag. Let's go. The time for hiding is over. It's time to face them, to protect those we love. Rebecca nodded. In her mother's strong gaze, she felt her own fear gradually melting away. Tom's car sped along the suburban roads. Her mother sat in the front passenger seat, while Rebecca desperately operated her phone in the back seat. She had just finished reporting to the police. Mary was already heading to the school in another car, they said. Tom checked the time. Mary should be able to buy us some time. Outside the car window, familiar streets flowed past like bands of light. In Rebecca's mind, April's morning smile overlapped with her mother-in-law's cold gaze. April, wait for us. Just then, her mother's phone rang. It was from Mary. Victoria has already arrived at the school. But I convinced the principal to keep April in the classroom. Rebecca's phone rang too. An unknown number. Hello. Hi, Rebecca. Her husband's voice. Her spine froze. I know where you are. You met with your mother, didn't you? Don't worry about April. My mother is going to pick her up. Actually, we've already completed the transfer procedures. What are you talking about? April isn't going anywhere. It's already decided. You seem to need some time to think things over. The call ended. Rebecca barely managed to suppress a scream. The car circled around to the back of the school. They parked in the shadow of the old gymnasium. As Mother and Rebecca got out, Mary came running up. April is safe. But Victoria is raising her voice in the principal's office. Just then, the school announcement system rang out. April Morrison, please come to the principal's office. Repeat. Rebecca instinctively tried to run, but her mother grabbed her arm. Wait. Going in directly is exactly what they want. We have evidence. All the evidence to prove their crimes. Now we need to stay calm. Rebecca took a deep breath. That's right. No more running or hiding. Let's use the staff entrance, Mary said. I'm a former teacher, so I know the building's layout perfectly. The group entered the school building through the gymnasium's back door. They advanced through the dim corridor. Children's voices could be heard in the distance. The principal's office is on the second floor. But before that, Mary stopped and pulled out a small digital recorder. Take this. Start recording as soon as Victoria starts talking. Rebecca nodded. She slipped the recorder into her pocket. As they climbed the stairs, her mother whispered, I'll go in first. Victoria will definitely be shaken when she sees me. But it's all right. This time is different. As they reached the principal's office, they could hear her mother-in-law's voice from inside. The reason I'm demanding custody of this child is. Her mother took a deep breath and opened the door. The room froze. The blood drained from her mother-in-law's face. Her expression was as if she'd seen a ghost. April, who had been sitting in a chair next to the principal, jumped up when she saw her grandmother. Grandma. April, don't move, Rebecca called out. What is this? Her mother-in-law said in a trembling voice. You're supposed to be dead. Yes, because you tried to make it so, didn't you? Her mother's voice was pure composure. But you failed, didn't you? Her mother-in-law grabbed the principal's desk to support herself. At that moment, rapid footsteps echoed in the hallway, and a series of FBI agents in black suits entered the room. Behind them, her husband appeared in a panicked state. Mother! James! Her mother-in-law's voice trembled. Why? One agent stepped forward. We have all the evidence. Insurance fraud, attempted murder, and... Silence, her mother-in-law suddenly screamed. I've been protecting this family. At her voice, April flinched. Rebecca immediately embraced her daughter. Her mother stepped forward. You've only been destroying the family. Spoiling your son, harming others, even trying to kill. I built a perfect family. A low-class woman like Rebecca. At that moment, April straightened up in Rebecca's arms. Grandma, why? Why are you being so mean? At that pure voice, the room fell silent. Tears began streaming down her mother-in-law's face. She looked like a different person from the dignified lady she usually was. She collapsed to her knees. The FBI agents moved swiftly, handcuffing her. Her husband was also restrained by other agents. As rights were being read mechanically, Rebecca held April tightly. Her mother joined them, and the three embraced. Mom, is Grandma really back? This isn't a dream. No, it's not a dream. We'll never be apart again. Her mother's hands gently enveloped them both. Outside the window, spring sunlight shone brightly. Cherry blossom petals danced in the schoolyard, accompanied by children's cheerful voices. Rebecca, her mother said quietly. It's all right now. We can live as a real family. April grasped her mother's hand. In that small hand, the new life of 3 generations of women resided as a tangible warmth. Outside the principal's office, police sirens were already wailing. Media was beginning to gather. Difficult days lay ahead. But there was nothing to fear anymore. Hey, isn't it Mom's birthday today? April suddenly said. We can celebrate with Grandma. Yes, Rebecca smiled. This is the best birthday present of my life. Her mother gently stroked their hair. The spring breeze flowed through the window into the room, as if announcing a new beginning. The 3 women's new life began in a small town on Cape Cod, in a house with a distinctive white shell-lined approach. It was her mother's dream home with a garden overlooking the sea. April, have you finished your homework? Rebecca called from the kitchen. In the living room, April was baking cookies with her grandmother. The familiar aroma wafted throughout the house. Almost. I'm doing math worksheets with Grandma. 3 months had passed since the incident. The trial that had shocked the public was over, with her mother-in-law receiving a life sentence and her husband sentenced to 20 years in prison. The media coverage had gradually died down, and they were now regaining a sense of normal daily life. Oh, Rebecca, her mother peered into the kitchen. Another work request. The computer screen displayed a design request from a major publishing house. Following the incident, Rebecca had gained attention in the industry, and work requests had increased dramatically. Yes. As an illustrator for children's books. That was your dream, her mother smiled gently. April surely inherited her talent from you. April was also showing promise in art class at her new school. At the recent exhibition, her painting of 3 generations of women won a special prize. It was a work titled Hope, depicting the 3 of them together with blue birds flying around them. Hey Mom, April came running from the living room with freshly baked cookies. Can I help with the church bake sale on Sunday? Her mother's cookies had become famous in the neighborhood. The new church community had warmly welcomed the 3 of them. Of course. But before that, tomorrow is Saturday, right? Ah. Our beach picnic day. April bounced around. Weekend picnics by the sea were becoming a new family tradition. At dusk, the 3 sat on the deck in the backyard. The sea breeze was pleasant, and a lighthouse blinked in the distance. Hey, Mom, Rebecca said quietly. Are you still scared about that day? Her mother shook her head slowly, listening to the sound of the waves. I'm fine now. Because, she said, stroking the head of April, who was dozing off in her lap. We have our precious treasure. Stars began twinkling in the night sky. Rebecca felt the happiness of being alive anew in this peaceful moment. The next morning, the 3 of them got up early and headed to the beach. No footprints yet marked the white sand. April was collecting seashells while playing with the waves. Look! Dolphins! A pod of dolphins was jumping through the waves offshore. April was overjoyed. Watching her, her mother spoke quietly. Yesterday, I received a letter from prison. Rebecca caught her breath. From James, her mother continued. He says he deeply regrets everything. Especially, he wants to see April. What should we do? That's for you to decide. But April has the right to know the truth someday. Rebecca gazed out to sea. Her husband's betrayal had deeply wounded her heart. But she couldn't remain imprisoned by hatred. That was what her mother had taught her. I'll think about it, Rebecca answered. But for now. Mom. Grandma. April waved. I'm hungry. They looked at each other and laughed. Opening the picnic basket, the 3 sat down on the sand. Her mother's special sandwiches, fruit, and cookies baked yesterday. Let's eat. Happy moments flowed by, accompanied by the gentle lapping of waves. The following Sunday, the church bake sale was a huge success. Her mother's cookies sold out immediately. April proudly sold cupcakes she had made herself. You really are a wonderful family. The church women's group leader approached them. God must have guided Rebecca, who worked so hard alone. Indeed, perhaps that was true. Even in darkness, there is always light. That's what her mother had taught her. That night, Rebecca began writing a letter. Dear James. For a long time, I hated you. But now, I feel a little different. As she wrote, she listened to April and her mother's laughter from the garden. They were searching for constellations in the night sky. Mom. A shooting star. At April's voice, Rebecca rushed out to the garden. Did you make a wish? Her mother asked. Yes. But it's already come true, April answered. Because I can be together with Mom and Grandma. Countless stars twinkled in the night sky they gazed up at together. They seemed like lights of new hope. A few days later, Rebecca's phone rang. An unknown number. Hello, Rebecca. This is David, from the children's book meeting the other day. The art director with the warm voice. After hanging up, Rebecca's cheeks were slightly flushed. He seems like a nice person, her mother said softly. Mom. Were you listening to? It's a privilege of mothers with grown daughters, her mother laughed. In the kitchen, April was helping prepare dinner. Her knife skills had improved considerably. Hey, what should we make tomorrow? Well. Her mother pondered. How about apple pie? We haven't made it in a while. April's eyes sparkled. Yay! I'll help peel the apples. The shadows of the three in the kitchen were cast on the wall by the setting sun. It was beautiful, like a painting. Oh, that's right, her mother suddenly remembered. Next month, Tom and Mary are coming to visit. Really? April jumped up and down. Will they tell me more interesting mountain stories? The two who had saved her mother's life had become like family now. At night, after putting April to bed, Rebecca was having tea with her mother on the deck. Are you happy? Her mother asked. Rebecca thought for a moment, then nodded. Yes. More than ever before. The sea breeze gently caressed their hair. The story of their new family was just beginning. But there was no more uncertainty. This was true happiness. Her mother quietly stood up and went inside. Watching her mother's back, Rebecca thought. Life sometimes presents cruel trials. But beyond those trials, there is always new light. In the living room hung the picture April had drawn. 3 women holding hands and smiling while blue birds soared around them. Those smiles were just like the 3 of them in reality.